An XRP ETF goes live today, but I've got an update regards to an HBAR and XRP ETF. We're also going to talk about real world assets hitting a massive milestone and looking like it's going to be the future of crypto. We're going to talk about a major project's way to turn things around. We'll talk price action, altcoin season, along with...
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
That's right, we got an XRP ETF live today, but it's something different than the other ETFs. What makes it so different? Well, we'll get into that. Before we do, though, you know the deal. You, the viewer, matter most. That's why I share your comments at the beginning of every video. Joey Bot dropping support on the channel says thanks. Well, you're very welcome, and thank you for supporting the channel. I appreciate it. Damien says, I got some bad pills for people to swallow. Rates will not be cut on the 17th, and regs will not be approved in October deadlines. Everyone will have to refile their ETFs. Well, this ETF got approved, and like I said, it's different. You'll see why here in a second. And I got some HBAR XRP ETF updates for you as well. Bro, location services. Yeah, you need a gold claim. That's the guy to check out. Says tokenize the tatas. What would you like to see tokenized? My guy said tatas. I don't know about you. I like the real thing. So no, don't tokenize the tatas. I like to touch that kind of stuff. Altcoin season 65 out of 100. That's right. We're replacing the heat map with the altcoin season update. You're starting to see the alts really move compared to BTC, with some of our favorites like XRP, XLM, HBAR up almost 50% in the last 90 days compared to BTC, who's up 10% in the last 90 days. So the trend is really strong for altcoins, and think, this is without regs. This is without the big ETFs. Yeah, you heard me, the big ETFs hitting. So alts looking good. Who's at the bottom of the stack? Picoin, down 40% in the last 90 days, along with World Liberty Financial. Oh, we're going to talk about them. But first, real world assets on chain hits a record high, hitting $29 billion in value. Real world assets are close to reaching $30 billion in the recent rise in private credit and stocks going on chain. The total value of tokenized assets has gone up by 8% in the last month, with the number of holders going up by 9% in the same period. According to data from RWA.xyz, combined with the total stablecoin value, tokenized assets on chain have reached $308 billion. Let me ask any of you out there, have any of you made money on some tokenization plays? Because think, the majority of the people that make money on it are the issuers of it, but have you been able to jump in on it? Yesterday, I did a story about how Pokemon is up 4,000 something percent, and a player decided to tokenize some Pokemon action. And now that is up tons. So have you gotten into it? And, like I asked in the other video, what would you like to see tokenized? A lot of people out there are saying, bro, I'd love to see gold tokenized on more platforms. Yeah, precious metals. The majority of tokenized assets is still dominated by private credit, which makes up more than $16.7 billion. Meanwhile, the second largest group is represented by U.S. Treasury debt. Damn it. The United States government finding its ways to pimp itself out to the consumer, pimping out its debt, contributing about a total of the real world asset value. U.S. Treasury debt amounts to $7.4 billion on chain. Damn it, United States government. World Liberty Financial proposes 100% liquidity fee buybacks and burns to reduce token supply. Look, World Liberty Financial had a nasty launch. They're down more than 50% from its all-time high of 46 cents. So the devs are like, look, we got to create a burn mechanism. Under the proposed framework, World Liberty Financial could collect fees from protocol-owned liquidity positions across Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, and Solana networks. These accumulated fees would then purchase World Liberty Financial tokens from open markets before sending them to burn addresses, permanently removing them from circulation. The buyback and burn mechanism excludes fees generated by community or third-party providers. Essentially, what they're trying to do is they're trying to find a way to act as a constrictor mechanism for this. Basically, when people were able to like unlock and actually open trade their World Liberty Financial stuff, they dumped it. Here's the chart. That's not looking so hot, everyone. Now, granted, it has leveled off here right around the 20 cent mark, which is good. But for real, down more than 50% since its peak. So Will this burn help out? Well, time will only tell. Canary, XRP, and HBAR ETFs listed on the DTC ahead of the SEC decision. Oh. Nature Asset, president of Nova DS Wealth Management, pointed out that the Dtcc listing is simply a preparatory measure for any future ETF launches and doesn't reflect the SEC stance on approval. So this is an approval now. This is procedural. Ahead of these rulings, the Canary XRP ETF appeared on the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation website, the DTCC, joining the listings for Solana and HBAR. While the entry is a technical step and not a trading approval, it drew attention as XRP's price broke out on strong market sentiment. Well, maybe it broke out on this. The Rex Osprey XRP ETF, which launched today. Yes, XRP is above $3. We'd like seeing that right here. We're at 303 right now. So why is this ETF different? It is different from the others. The main difference, it's based on the Investment Company Act of 1940, while others are based on the Act of 1933. Using the 1940 Act allowed Rex Osprey to complete the 75-day review, where the majority of these are having what? Look at all these different deadline reviews. Yeah, insano reviews. Let's keep learning. The other difference is that it will provide investors with exposure to XRP through a wholly owned Cayman Islands company. That's why this is a big nothing burger. Because it's through the Cayman Islands and people don't want to play with that. The fund will be similar to the Rex Osprey Sol and Staking ETF that has accumulated over almost $250 million in assets. As such, it is likely to be more expensive than other ETFs given its 0.75 expense ratio. Okay, so this is why the Rex Osprey one is going to be a nothing burger. Do you remember when the BTC ETFs launched? Remember when Grayscale had a whole bunch of outflows? It was bleeding. Yeah, because it was expensive. So if you have a whole bunch of players out there launching ETFs, who do you think people are going to pick? They're going to pick the ones with the cheapest fees, right? So if they're looking at this Rex Osprey one and they're like, yo, this is 0.75%, and other players are going to be giving 0.25%, and you could save 50 basis points, what do you think you're going to do? You're going to wait for the launch where you save 50 basis points on fees. Because think, if you're investing millions and millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, 50 basis points is a lot of money. While the new XRP ETF will be notable, the main catalyst for XRP will be other funds, which will be likely approved in October. Polymarket says the odds are at 92%. So this, good for news. Good for keeping XRP relevant in the news. Hot, spicy, naughty, relevant. You know the deal. Nothing burger, though, in terms of juicy action. All right? Why? Because this is an expensive one. And we already learned, when you're expensive in the ETF world, players don't want to play with you. Players will wait, or they will go to the assets that are, less in fees. I mean, okay, you want to buy a car, and it's the same car. Let's say you want to buy a Porsche. You want to buy a Turbo S. We're not going GT3 today, okay? We want to buy a Turbo S. We want to hit the S button, okay? And we're going to two different dealerships. We want to buy the exact same spec Porsche. One dealership has that car listed for $240,000. The other car has it listed for $220,000. They're both identical, the same color, same spec sheet. You can get it delivered at the same time. You can get a handy with it, right? The secretary is super hot. She's like, look, I'll hook you up in the back room. Both are awesome, right? Exact same deal. Which Porsche are you going to buy? You're going to buy the cheaper one. Exactly. And that's what's going to happen here. So is this cool, the Rex Osprey one? Yeah. Are a lot of people blowing this up as the next biggest thing out there for XRP? Hell yeah, they are, because they're opium junkies. The reality is this is good, but with expensive fees, players are going to wait to get into the cheaper market. Overall, crypto volume is $150 billion. It's kind of been where we've been at for the whole week here. We're dead set neutral right now at 50 in the Fear and Greed Index. Bitcoin up 0.8% last 24 hours. ETH up 2%. Sol up 4%, making a healthy move right here. XRP, like I said, up to $3. I like that. You want to know if the ETF is a big nothing burger? Well, guess what, girlfriend? Here it is. $5 billion in volume. Up 1%. Yeah, that's it. Just 1%. That sucks balls. And right here, here's one. Docs guy posts just in. ETFs are making move. Canary XRP ETFs. No, they're not making moves. I just broke the story. This is a technical step and is not a trading approval. In fact, here is the snip right here on my screen, and here is the snip they post. Canary XRP ETF beneficial. Canary XRP ETF beneficial. So again, people are taking nothing burgers and trying to create them into the ultimate hype machine. Here's another one. Adam B says, just in, big ETF momentum hits crypto. No, I just shared with you, this is not big news. Here's another one. Rex Osprey launching today. Oh my God, this is ETF launch, expected approvals ahead. Oh, this is so not, yeah. This is the problem, everyone. A lot of people are taking these little news stories and trying to make them into something crazy. They're not. These are big nothing burgers. They're good. They're good for keeping XRP relevant, but look at the price. If this was juicy, don't you think you'd be seeing something juicy in the price happen? Don't you think the volume would be doing something better than up 1% in the last 24 hours? So yeah, look at the posts. They're exactly what I showed you, but here are people, oh, ETFs are making moves. No, they're procedural, you dumbass. I just shared with you the article that says, yo, this is a technical step, not a trading approval. And remember, the Rex ETF is an expensive one. And when there's cheaper options for the same product, where do you think people are going to go? To the cheaper options. So again, the juice is in the details, or the lack of juice is in the details, yet these same fucking knob gobblers keep promoting this shit as if it's the biggest thing out there. Do you know how many comments I had yesterday in the videos? Bro, ETF, Rex ETF with XRP being launched tomorrow. And I'm like, oh my God, it's a big nothing burger. And then I feel bad because I have to break the news about it being a nothing burger, a super crazy expensive product that no one really cares about because its competition is going to blow them out the water. Look, October and November are the real ETFs that we care about. The one with the Dtcc, no, we're not making moves. That's procedural. That has nothing to do with it. Oh, this is frustrating, everyone. This is why I really get frustrated, but this is also why I like bringing you the news. So I can peel back the layers of the stories and show you the details that really matter. Now, like I said, this is good, though, because this keeps us in the news. I know it's hopium with a lot of players out there, and I know it's a lot of junk, but at least it's keeping XRP in the forefront. Because think about it. The majority of players out there don't have as many ETF filings as XRP does. I mean, they really don't. So they don't have as many opportunities to be in the news as XRP does. So, hopium, yes. Relevant, yes. Juicy, no. Led to volume, no. I know. Now, in terms of tokenization and real-world assets, what would you like to see tokenized that you would get into? Yeah, I've had some really good answers out there. I've seen luxury cars wanting to be tokenized. Someone said watches, too. They would like to get in the tokenization of the luxury watch market because they would like fractional ownership of it. I actually think that's a good one as well. But let me know what your thoughts are down below on what you would like to tokenize. No, I would not like to tokenize the tatas. I'd like to feel them all myself. And remember, anything more than a handful sprains the thumb. Choo choo what? Well, the sign says it behind me. Oh, you can't read? Well, let me help you read by lighting it up. Choo choo what? Dang, girlfriend. Choo choo bitches.